Hello there, I trust your weekend is coming along fine. Glad you could join us on NTV Weekend Edition this Saturday, the 10th day of August 2019. We are coming to you live from the Nation Center with a broadcast of the day's events. But first, the headlines. Tonight, tragedy in Tanzania. Over 60 dead and another 70 injured after fuel tanker bursts into flames. Plus, police raid billionaire Humphrey Kariuki's business premises in Nanyuki. 2 of his private jets are missing. And acting Treasury Cabinet Secretary says all is well with the economy.
But I want to assure you that Kenyan economy is quite resilient.
But do wananchi think so?
As you have said that government inasema economy may improve. I think it may improve too kwa leaders, not the citizens.
Kibanda yangu saizi tangi asubuhi sijauza, hakuna pesa kweli, hakuna pesa.
Also tonight,
wakati sasa aliona ametumia pesa nyingi na bado anaumwa, ugonjwa ndio inazidi kumuuma.
Man commits suicide amid battle with cancer, but hope is alive for cancer survivors.
Is it beyond you? Then let whoever your God is or whoever you believe in take charge.
This is NTV Weekend Edition with Edmond Nyabola.
Welcome to the broadcast. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Flora Atieno, and we ask for your company for the next 60 minutes. But tonight we begin with the news of the dark cloud that sits over our neighbors, Tanzania. 60 people have died and over 70 others injured after a fuel tanker exploded in Morogoro town. Many of the deceased and injured were siphoning petrol from the vehicle, which had crashed. President Uhuru Kenyatta has sent his message of condolence to the affected families and Tanzania at large, pledging to support them in this tough season.
Flames roared and black smoke billowed over the eastern Tanzanian town of Morogoro after a crowd had gathered around a tanker which had overturned while trying to avoid a motorcycle. Footage taken before the explosion showed a large group of people with buckets and jerrycans siphoning fuel, but their fate was fatal. Majority of the motorcyclists fetching leaking fuel at the scene, as well as food vendors along the highway, were reportedly burnt beyond recognition.
Na walikuwepo watu wengine wamebanwa kwenye gari mle, ambao dereva pamoja na mwanamke mmoja pamoja na wengine. Na mwanamke ndio nilimuona kabla hajaungua. Wakawa wengine wanajitahidi kuwatoa, wengine wanaiba mafuta. Aliyekuja kuiba beti ile anavuta tu, gari ikalipuka.
Moto kaanza kufika bigeta kelele tayari moto kalitengi chalipuka tayari.
Charred bodies and burnt wreckages of motorbikes were littered around the tanker. 60 people have been confirmed dead and 70 others seriously injured and are currently admitted in various hospitals. Most of the victims were taken to hospital in Morogoro with fears that the death toll could rise.
Katika kukimbia kwa mtu akanikumbatia. Kunikumbatia mimi nikavua nguo zote. Mtu kama hivi imetokea ajali, mguu umeungua tu.
Na mpaka ninapoongea sasa hivi tumeshapokea majeruhi 60 ambao wako ndani ya wards. Na bado tunaendelea kupokea.
Personnel from Tanzania People's Defense Force TPDF and the fire brigade made their way to the scene, which was cordoned. All bodies were transferred from the scene to a local hospital for identification.
Bado tunaendelea kufuatilia kwa karibu kupata ile baadhi ya miili tulioitoa hapa na baadhi ya viungo ambavyo vilikuwa vimeungua mpaka majivu na wengine kuharibika ili tuweze kupata idadi kamili.
Tanzania's President John Magufuli said he was shocked and saddened by the tragedy. In a statement, Magufuli said the loss of such a large number of Tanzanians in this situation is very painful. He has sent his condolences to the bereaved and wished the injured quick recovery. President Uhuru Kenyatta has also joined in mourning with Tanzania, as well as pledged Kenya's support. In his message, President Kenyatta said his prayer is that God will comfort those who have lost their loved ones in the unfortunate accident. The city of Morogoro is on a major route for transporting cargo and fuel from the port, which is the country's commercial capital.
A terrible tragedy there, and we here at Nation Media Group send our message of condolence to the people of Tanzania. Now, DCI detectives have today raided belonging to billionaire businessman Humphrey Kariuki, seeking to seize his assets. The Nairobi Milimani court on Friday allowed detectives to search the premises in an ongoing 41 billion shillings tax evasion and fraud case against the controversial businessman. NTV's Mel Miendo tagged along in the DCI operation and filed this report.
A trip to Nanyuki by DCI detectives. The mission seizing billionaire businessman Humphrey Kariuki's assets following a court order allowing the same granted on Friday. The billionaire owns this Fairmont Mount Kenya Safari Club, and in it sits the hangar for his executive private jets with foreign registrations, both of which are missing. Only this small aircraft, registration 5YBJD, and this Toyota VX Land Cruiser, registration KAX 828C, were found. One is the Pilatus PC-12ZS TDL, common with most airlines, and the other, a Bombardier T-7DNK, a luxury jet. Unconfirmed reports indicate it was last seen heading to South Africa. DCI Director George Kinoti, who's also the head of Interpol Kenya, says he will use a legal jurisdiction to impound the missing planes wherever they are. While in Nanyuki, detectives served the court order papers to the general manager of Fairmont Nanyuki and the manager of the Mount Kenya Wildlife Conservancy, which are all owned by Humphrey Kariuki.
It's all the same company.
The order allowed detectives to seize, detain and freeze any property or title attached to places, buildings, ships, aircrafts, vehicles, bank accounts and companies that Kariuki has interest in. DCI detectives seek to detain 89 vehicles and 18 motorcycles linked to 31 companies where Humphrey Kariuki is lead shareholder. The businessman is being sought for various offences, including evading tax valued at 41.5 billion shillings since 2014.
This runway was built by billionaire businessman Humphrey Kariuki for himself and also for commercial purposes. His private jets would land here. We've seen the hangar
taking place in Dubai.
When it comes to business, we crunch the numbers and unpack the...
The Back to School program has brought hope to these young mothers.
NTV News. News that moves you.
Every day, NTV News team moves you to the center of the action.
The security forces who took part in this operation,
police are not taking anything to chance it.
Moves you to the heart of the story to witness.
And 5,000 bags of sugar suspected to contain the compound have been stolen from the Bolore godown in Mombasa County. Another 300 bags of good sugar were stolen from the same godown, according to Changamwe Sub-County Police Commander Daudi Loronyokwe. Police say 7 people have been arrested in connection to the theft of the 300 bags, and they are searching for the watchman who had been guarding the mercury-laced sugar and escaped. The theft is said to have taken place in the last 3 weeks and is believed to have been an inside job. It is now emerging that the number of Kenyan legislators who have attended a conference in the U.S. state of Tennessee may be more than the 85 reported earlier. More leaders have reportedly joined their colleagues in the trip, raising the number to 90. The House leadership has refuted these claims, accusing the media of misreporting, as Vincent Oduor now tells us.
Revelations that 85 Kenyan legislators, including MPs and MCAs, could have wasted public resources by attending a conference in the United States have been denied by Parliament. But the numbers is reportedly actually higher.
I also have my sources where the nation got it. That, as a matter of fact, it is not 85, it was 90. Kenyans are there. When the United States, the host, has only got 9 people.
5 more leaders, including Senators Agnes Zani and Frederick Outa and Meru Speaker Joseph Kaberia, are additional participants. Nigeria has the second highest delegation, with at only 20. The conference agenda reportedly includes sampling country music and a talk from legendary singer Dolly Parton.
The Parliament owes this country an explanation why they are sending bloated delegation to conferences which bring no benefit to our country.
Kenyan leaders have been claiming millions in hefty allowances for so-called benchmarking trips abroad, most of which have no benefits to the electorate.
The other day in Dubai, I was transiting and I meet a whole county assembly from one of our counties, I don't want to mention which one, that they are going to do benchmarking in Dubai. Dubai does not have a devolved system. Many countries now are tired of receiving Kenyan delegations. Even Kenyan embassies abroad, they are tired. If they are not members of the National Assembly and Senate, they are MCAs running around that they are coming to do benchmarking.
Only a week, the EACC summoned over 40 MCAs from Siaya County who claimed over 200,000 shillings each in allowances for a trip to Uganda that never was. It has emerged that they only went to the Busia border, got their passports stamped and came back. Among the names was that of a dead MCA. Vincent Odur, NTV.
Well, how about that? Never a dull moment, they say in the 254. Now, more and more tales on the battle with cancer have been told in the recent past. Many have narrated their journey, but for some, others had to tell of it as they succumbed to the scourge. For some of those living with cancer, it has been a tough journey, especially when they see others pass away. Just yesterday, a man in Laikipia threw in the towel in his battle and committed suicide. A woman in Naivasha did the same a week ago. But there still remains some sort of hope, resilience and drive among cancer survivors. And this hope is the destination Charity Mwangi's report drives us to.
The sorrow in the atmosphere is visible on their faces, telling of an even deeper pain within. The family of 65-year-old Joseph Karibiti sits pensive and pained at their home in Kwamwaura village, Laikipia East Sub-County. In 2016, he began being sickly, and 2 years later, he was diagnosed with stage 2 cancer.
Hata alituambia wakati sasa aliona ametumia pesa nyingi na bado anaumwa.
What followed was the battle that seemed to financially cripple the family and add him unbearable pain.
Nikamuuliza ama tufanye hivi, kama hataki kufanywa surgery turudi tu huko Madhari awekwe chemotherapy ingine. Akaniambia hapana, we twende huko Nairobi ndio kuzuri, ndio nitolewe nini hiyo ugonjwa.
Medical records document the tough journey that he trudged along, and on Thursday he decided to end it and the torture it brought along. He hung himself. He left a suicide note which tells of his innate instinct to protect his family, more so his wife.
Akasema yeye bibi yake asiulizwe swali, yeye amejitia kitanzi juu ya uchungu.
Preparations for his burial continue in his homestead to bid farewell to a soldier whose fight has come to an abrupt end. The reality of the cancer-related deaths has dealt a blow to many survivors, and Kabiriti is not alone. 43-year-old Purity Muthoni Kariuki has been laid to rest at her home in Olkalau, Nyandarua County. She committed suicide in Naivasha a week ago. Her family says she gave up the fight soon after watching the burial of the late Bomet Governor Joyce Laboso. There are many stories of pain and anguish in a season when cancer awareness is high.
I thrive. I even do.
But others say this reality does not have to spell hopelessness. Carol Nganga is a cervical cancer survivor who understands the journey right from the start.
The first thing that comes to your mind is death.
She partly attributes the sinking into a hole of hopelessness to failure in bedside manner by medics.
The lady came to me and with a sneer on her face told me, "Hey madam, hapa tunaona ni kama uko na cancer, but hatuwezi kuambia, daktari ndiye atakwambia." After HPV DNA test, I met a doctor in town and he told me, he didn't even explain to me what the results had said. He told me, we just remove this uterus, then there's nothing big. It's not a big deal. You're not the first woman without a uterus. I was like, hi.
Carol tells that her hope was renewed by her doctor, whose patience and understanding of her situation was an encouragement.
He told me, "Caroline, I am not going to lose you. You are too young."
She has no active cancer cell in her body, but does not take it for granted, as she believes nobody is absolutely safe. Now her life's mission is to encourage others to lead a healthy lifestyle while inspiring hope to those battling cancer.
If you're and you've just been diagnosed, is there anything you can do? If there is, do it.
While being diagnosed with a terminal illness such as cancer may be devastating news, according to Carol, death is all around us, and it's up to each and every one of us to always choose life, regardless of the adversity you may be facing. Charity Mwangi, NTV.
Now, police officers were today morning called in to the Nairobi Central SDA Church to calm a situation in which worshippers nearly engaged in a physical fight. The drama, which would have turned ugly, by the way, is a culmination of long-standing issues with concerns of tribal undertones. A plan by one faction of the church leadership to escort 15 congregants was met with fury by another opposing group. Leila Mohammed was outside the church where believers going to observe the Sabbath were locked out.
It was to be the weekly meeting with God and his people, but at the entrance, it was a meeting with locked gates and police officers as faithful came face to face with yet another face of what some say is church politics.
We rejoice in the Lord and all will be well.
The Sabbath service at the Nairobi Central Seventh-day Adventist Church did not kick off.
Amen.
Journalists on the scene faced backlash from some who felt those who wanted to speak would not articulately express the burning matters at hand. The simmering pot coming to a boiling point, with tempers flaring over what they now say will divide the church.
Unfortunate, actually, what has happened, but we believe that it is going to come to an end to the glory of God.
The tussle has been cited as largely being about control of the church and resources, with the trouble skew to the push and pull. The SDA Church at large is well resourced through congregants' givings and the institution's investments. In 2016, the church had a revenue of between 350 million to 1 billion shillings, according to the taxman's records.
We must solve it. This problem has nothing to do with tribe. This problem has been brought about by people who have vested interests, one with the property of the church and with the leadership positions.
A week ago, part of the Nairobi Central Branch leadership was blocked from excommunicating to members. This was further aggravated by a list in circulation which informed 15 members they were to no longer be part of the congregation. The church's rules state that the clerk should write to those affected, giving them a chance to explain themselves before the board. Once a resolution is passed, it goes through the committee of the entire church, which can veto or agree with the decision.
Issues that we have dealt with, and we did not expect the turn of event of this morning.
And the efforts of the regional commissioner through the Deputy County Commissioner Westlands have not borne any fruit.
One of the key causes of the dispute is the 2015 election of heads of the Central Kenya Conference of the SDA Church, under which the Nairobi Central Church falls. The fallout from the election saw the registration of a rival section, the Nairobi Cosmopolitan Conference, as a splinter of the Central Kenya Conference.
In agreement with the Westlands Sub-County Security Committee that church should remain closed until when solve their problems.
With heavy police presence at the church, worshippers moved to the St. George's Secondary School grounds to continue with their worship, while others gathered at another SDA church in the city. A week of prayer set to begin here today at the Nairobi Central SDA Church has been overshadowed by a dark cloud that is threatening to split the church into various factions. But according to the congregants, something has to be done to bring the Church of God together. Leila Mohammed, NTV, Nairobi.
The Cabinet Secretary for Labour, Ukur Yatani, who is also the acting National Treasury CS, has maintained that the country's economy is doing well, despite the fact that many Kenyans are losing jobs and millions more struggle to find employment. In the last month alone, it has emerged that over 1,000 employees have either been retrenched or face the sack as companies face fiscal challenges. Telecom Kenya Limited is set to fire 575 employees as the East Africa Breweries Limited plans to let go of over 100 employees. Stanbic Bank has given 255 of its employees voluntary retirement. Only a few days ago, the East African Portland Cement declared its entire workforce of 800 employees redundant before withdrawing that decision yesterday. This has been blamed on a troubled economy, with employers looking to cut costs through staff reductions. But the CS remains adamant.
But I want to assure you that Kenyan economy is quite resilient. The statistics, the conventional standards, all the reports, those other institutions, companies which have challenges, there could be more than, the state of the economy. Could be because of, as a result of other reasons. But I want to give you, my report at a later time to address the state of, unemployment or, people who are affected in a number of companies.
Well, we tooled around the country asking Kenyans what they thought about the state of the economy against the job losses that we have seen. And here now is you say.
Kutokuwa na maji, ukame umezidi na kazi hakuna.
Biashara uchumi Marsabit imekusha kabisa, hakuna pesa. Haya maji imebanda. Jarikeni moja shilingi 50. Zamani 20, 20 kitu kama hiyo. Sasa haiwezekani, uchumi imebanda, watoto fee imebanda. Kila kitu imebanda.
Inflation inaenda juu, prices of vitu zinaenda juu. Nyanya saizi ni 10 bob, kitunguu ni 10 bob.
Vitu ukienda kwa supermarket, hata ukienda na shilingi 1000 ni kama hujafanya shopping yoyote.
All right, something to look forward to. And before we do that, let's take our first short break on NTV Weekend Edition, and we'll be back with more, so stay with us.
The 2019 Kenya Population and Housing Census is coming. For Kenya's planning and development, we all have to be counted. People from all walks of life in any part of Kenya, it's your right to be counted. Be ready to be counted where you will be on the night of the 24th of August, 2019. The 2019 Kenya Population and Housing Census, counting our people for sustainable development and devolution of services. Jitokeze uhesabike.
Hii kitu nimecheza kwa muda sababu hii 50 yenye nacheza kwa loto huwa inasaidia watu wengine. Na mimi nasemanga mkono wangu uko kwa hiyo. Kuna siku alinipigia, nafikiri ilikuwa Jumamosi, nikaongea na mshamba, ndio mshamba akaniambia kuwa nimeshinda hiyo 1.2 million. Nikafurahi sana. Sababu sikutarajia kabisa, nikafurahia.
Hiyo siku alinipigia simu akaniambia, so nikastuka, lakini nikastuka ile kustuka ya kufurahi. Nikaambia Mungu wewe tenda. Unajua nimepitia mbali, kutoka mbali nilikuwa mgonjwa juzi na ukamponya. Niliposikia naitwa Charles Kiboro kutoka Tambachi, nilikuwa almost faint. Nikasema Mungu, kabla sijakufa acha nisikie tena.
Asante sana Lotto, na tusidi kuwa pamoja.
Win every day with Lotto. Play now and you could be the lucky player who takes home a guaranteed 1.2 million shillings tonight. Cheza tuzidi pamoja. Send 50 shillings to paybill 777-000. Account NTV. Over 18s only. Gaming can be addictive. Play responsibly. This message has been approved by the BCLB.
The Kenya Defence Forces is hosting the 12th edition of the East African Community Military Games and Cultural Events. Join us at the Moi International Sports Centre Kasarani from August 11th to August 24th. The events will bring together military teams from Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda, South Sudan, Tanzania and Uganda. Military teams from 6 EAC countries will compete in football, volleyball, netball, basketball, and cross-country. Don't miss the 12th edition of the East Africa Community Military Games and Cultural Event.
One people, one destiny. Tuungane kwa umoja.
Breakfast is not complete without the new Minute Maid Nutri-Defense's Nectar Plus. Complete the most important meal of the day with the goodness of great-tasting juice fortified with vitamin E and zinc to complement your family's nutritional needs. Minute Maid Nutri-Defense's Nectar Plus. Breakfast complete.
Who wants to answer? Mary?
Mary has a toothache.
Oh, I see. And who knows why?
Because her tooth is too big.
No, it might be a hole in her tooth called a cavity. That's why I brush twice a day using Colgate.
Imagine this is your tooth and these are food acids that cause cavities. Colgate with calcium and fluoride helps prevent cavities
For maximum cavity protection.
and now available in a 12-gram sachet for fresh breath. Only 15 shillings.
Once again, we are at it together. We are absolutely everywhere and we love it. This is what makes us tick. This is what makes our heart beat. It is always on the edge. It is always football time.
Get an HD decoder, dish kit, plus 2 months of DSTV Family for only 4,999 shillings.
You in the pollution? Yes, you. Dry throat? Strepsils. Gal in the smoke with a raspy voice? Strepsils. Hello, in the downpour with a scratchy throat? Take Strepsils. Get soothing relief for any throat irritation. Strepsils with its medicinal ingredients will heal the harm down to your throat from external factors. Strepsils. Strepsils for a dry, itchy, raspy, scratchy throat.
School of Business, University of Nairobi, globally recognized and offering internationally accredited programs, invites applications for the September 2019 intake in the following postgraduate and undergraduate programs: Master in Business Administration, Master of Science in Marketing, Human Resources Management, Entrepreneurship and Innovations Management, Finance, Supply Chain Management, Operations and Technology Management, Bachelor of Commerce, Bachelor Commerce Distance Learning, Bachelor of Science in Finance, Accounting, Operations and Supply Chain Management. Programs are offered in Mombasa and Kisumu campuses and selected programs at the Eldoret Learning Center. Apply online through application.uonbi.ac.ke and be the first to secure admission at the most prestigious university in sub-Saharan Africa. The University of Nairobi is a world-class university committed to scholarly excellence.
Unye vipi bana? Nini poa? Umenitumia ka message kwa WhatsApp. Alafu before nisome ikaandikwa deleted for everyone. Ati? Unaweza nitumia tena ndio nisikue nimekosa kitu my friend.
Usijali, hiyo haikuwa yako, ilikuwa ya tinga hiyo.
Fuata Joshua ufike Canaan. Wasikiza sawa?
Lakini Joshua,
yes.
Hata tukienda Canaan sahi, si mfalme Uhuru ashafika.
Call on me anytime you want to. Call on me.
Welcome back to NTV Weekend Edition and to something that touches closer home. Now, journalists write the history of the nation, and while it is a heavy burden, it must be carried out to the end. These are the sentiments of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, who was the chief guest at the annual Journalism Excellence Awards on Friday evening. Nation Media Group won the largest share with 7 awards on the night. The gala recognizes journalists who have been outstanding in their work.
The news gatherers and reporters are on the other side of the scale. For their hard work and unrelenting passion, journalists were awarded for their quality reporting at the Media Council of Kenya's annual Journalism Excellence Awards. This is especially critical in the age where journalism has been challenged with being accountable on issues that are critical in shaping the course of the country.
You've seen the media do some exemplary reporting, particularly on the emotive subjects of corruption and governance.
In the process of acquiring custody of
NTV's Edmond, Nyabola and Robert Gishira won the Devolution Reporting for Television Award on account of their bold report on the suffering of children in the special feature Court to Court.
And committed.
The Daily Nation's John Kamau won the Business Reporting Award for print, while Africa and Census' John Allen Namu won the Overall Journalist Award. Gena Kirori, NTV.
Congratulations to the winners on the night, and of course we thank the entire team. Myself and Robert Gishira won that award. We thank the entire team which contributed, I should say, to the story in many ways, and of course congratulations to our colleagues as well who did not win the awards but were runners-up, first runners-up and second runners-up in different categories as well. Now, the Kenya Defence Forces mission in Somalia is almost over, and the journey to exiting the Horn of Africa by 2021 is still on course. NTV's Seth Olale visited the Kenyan neighbors and brings you the sights and sounds of the mission from deep in the battlefield of Somalia on Sunday, 7 and 9 p.m. Here's a sneak preview of NTV's special Over and Out.
Somalia cannot move anywhere, neither can Kenya move anywhere.
The Kenyan people know that their sons and daughters who came to Somalia to fight against Al-Shabaab, their efforts was not in vain.
Kenya Defence Forces under AMISOM understands the importance of service delivery to the locals here, and for efficient service delivery there has to be such infrastructure.
2012 it has been very difficult, but now we can do her business.
We hope that by 2021 they will be able to take up.
Well, do stay tuned for that story on a Sunday, that's tomorrow actually, 7 and 9 p.m. with Seth Olale. Now, in exactly a fortnight, you will be giving your details to officials recording your information as part of the 2019 National Population and Housing Census. The Acting Treasury Cabinet Secretary, Ukur Yatani, has a potential surprise for you. But first, let's get the gist of the 18.5 billion shillings process that started upwards of 5 years ago. Now, the first stage is the pre-enumeration. This started with cartographic, I should say, mapping to establish enumeration areas. This ran from 2016 to May of 2019. Across the years, the questionnaires were developed. Then a mock census was undertaken in 2018 to test the various aspects of the process. Then there was recruitment and training of personnel. The second stage, which was the enumeration, this is set to kick off on the night of 24th of August and run through to the 31st. This will be done using tablets that are fully Kenyan-made at the Jomo Kenyatta International, or rather University of Agriculture and Technology, and the Moi University. The third stage is the post-enumeration. This will entail the release of provisional results 3 months after the counting ends. And now to the promise of potentially good news. The acting CS is championing for a holiday plan for you.
That we have also forwarded our proposal to the Cabinet Secretary Interior to liaise with His Excellency the President for considering to declare 26th August a national holiday to give the citizens of this country opportunity to be enumerated from comfort of their homes.
As we continue hoping for that good news, let's take another short break on NTV Weekend Edition. When we come back, we have plenty more, including Women in Power and your favorite Saturday segments. Stay with us.
School of Business, University of Nairobi, globally recognized and offering internationally accredited programs, invites applications for the September 2019 intake in the following postgraduate and undergraduate programs: Master in Business Administration, Master of Science in Marketing, Human Resources Management, Entrepreneurship and Innovations Management, Finance, Supply Chain Management, Operations and Technology Management, Bachelor of Commerce, Bachelor Commerce Distance Learning, Bachelor of Science in finance, accounting, operations and supply chain management. Programs are offered in Mombasa and Kisumu campuses and selected programs at the Eldoret Learning Center. Apply online through application.uonbi.ac.ke and be the first to secure admission at the most prestigious university in sub-Saharan Africa. The University of Nairobi is a world-class university committed to scholarly excellence.
I help women find independence by training them in fish farming. It's tough on my back, joints, and can cause headaches. Panadol Extra relieves multiple types of pain. Panadol Extra, now with new Optizorb technology to fight multiple tough pains with 3 times more pain-relieving medicine in the first 30 minutes when you need it most. Seeing them support themselves makes any pain worth it. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Why are you filming, Mommy?
To help people stop getting sick. People think the weather makes them sick. Actually, it's the germs. Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs, including the cold and flu virus.
John suffers from indigestion. His twin James suffers from heartburn. Sometimes it's the other way around or both. That's why they use Gaviscon Double Action. It soothes within 3 minutes and lasts up to 4 hours. For double relief from heartburn and indigestion, Gaviscon Double Action. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Tusonge mbele na Fiber Mobile. Get a Fiber SIM card today and enjoy Tusonge mbele bundles at affordable prices.
Making my family some nutritious porridge is a painstaking process. First, I have to find all the ingredients needed, and there are many. For vitamins, proteins, and minerals, I need cassava, sorghum, millet. You no longer need to go through all that to make nutritious porridge. All you need is NutriPro.
You don't have to go through the trouble of finding, measuring, and weighing all these vital ingredients. New NutriPro porridge flour comes fortified with 13 vitamins, proteins, and minerals. This means that you have more time to focus on what's important, giving your family the healthy start they deserve. NutriPro, bringing families together. From Tropical Brand.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Unye vipi bana? Nini poa? Umenitumia ka message kwa WhatsApp? Alafu before nisome ikaandikwa deleted for everyone. Ati? Unaweza nitumia tena ndio nisikuwe nimekosa kitu my friend.
Usijali, hiyo haikuwa yako, ilikuwa ya tinga hiyo.
Fuata Joshua ufike Canaan. Usikize sawa?
Lakini Joshua,
yes.
Hata tukienda Canaan sahi, si mfalme Uhuru ashafika.
Call on me anytime you want to. Call.
Somalia cannot move anywhere, neither can Kenya move anywhere.
The Kenyan people know that their sons and daughters who came to Somalia to fight against Al-Shabaab, their efforts was not in vain.
Kenya Defense Forces under AMISOM understands the importance of service delivery to the locals here, and for efficient service delivery there has to be such infrastructure.
Barabara itasaidia wao upande ya biashara.
2012 it has been very difficult, but now we can do business.
We hope that by 2021 they will be able to take up.
I am Joseph Mungai Gikonyo, the proprietor of Garam Investments Auctioneers. I came to the Daily Nation because it was then, as it is still now, the newspaper with largest readership in the country. I didn't have to think twice about it. The Daily Nation is the cream of the crop. And I have seen tremendous growth in my business via the use of the Daily Nation.
Our leadership is unchallenged, and that's the truth. Daily Nation, the truth.
Representing for Christ.
We all face challenges in every area of our lives. As long as you're alive, you will have to battle against things in order for you to accomplish your goals.
Especially sima vijana, our main challenge inakuwa kuwa misunderstood and of course kunyimwa platform because of our image na vitu kama hizo, au sio?
Exactly, and so that's why you need to join us this Sunday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for an amazing conversation. Not to forget, it's a double affair. We will be having crossover in Kenya and
in Uganda, of course, 256.
254 and 256.
And of course, tutakuwa na wasanii wa nguvu in the building.
Sijui why, sioni lo kwa jicho langu bali kwa lako, sijui why.
Super Loaf, slices of life.
Welcome back to NTV Weekend Edition. Let's now cover a bit of politics before we get into women and power. Political leaders allied to Deputy President William Ruto now appear to be softening their stand on Kenya holding a referendum. The mixed signals, however, come with cautious optimism, even as the Deputy President continues to steer clear of the referendum politics.
They have been talking a tough game, speaking against a referendum, but the tide and tune seems to be changing for politicians allied to the Deputy President.
Those people who are undertaking the BBI process is taking Kenyans for a ride. I rather hata we accept punguza mzigo.
Kama tutabadilisha katiba, lazima ipunguze mzigo.
What Akuru Aukot and his team have done is what every Kenyan has in their mind.
Some have, however, opted not to link themselves to existing camps.
Sisi tutalete yetu ambayo inaitwa ugatuzi. Pesa sasa ikuje kwa raia.
Deputy President William Ruto, as he often does after his foot soldiers speak, has steered clear of the referendum politics.
Mambo ya siasa, murengo huu, murengo ule, chama ile, chama hiyo, sisi tuungane, tushirikiane.
Political leaders from Western Kenya who accompanied the DP have once again reiterated their support for his presidency bid. Lois Wangoi, NTV, in the county of Uasin Gishu.
Elizabeth Ekai lost her sight due to depression in 2014, an experience that sent her spiraling into even more darkness. However, she found the light when she trained as a shiatsu therapist at the Machakos Technical College for the Blind. 5 years on, and the mother of two is a highly skilled shiatsu therapist, giving relief to many patients and clients. Gladys Gashanja spent a day with Elizabeth at the Premier Rehab and Wellness Center for this week's Women in Power.
Lisa, ready? Okay. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Nice to meet you too. My name is Elizabeth Ekai. I'm a shiatsu therapist. Today I want to do shiatsu. Shiatsu is a Japanese traditional therapy. It's helping you to relaxing circulation and recovery. Okay. No pain?
No pain.
Shiatsu inasaidia wanawake kwa shida za kimwili. Wanaume pia inasaidia watoto, wazee, kila aina yote ya mtu yote. Shiatsu ina help. Wamama wanasaidia first wako na a lot of stress. So we help kwa stress, inaondoa stress. Wengine wako na diabetes, tuna work on diabetes, wengine wako na stroke. So tunawaka pia kwa stroke, inaweza kufanya nerve ya to get tena. There is pain here. On 2014 ndio niliweza kupoteza uwezo wa kuona. So nilielezewa naweza enda shule Machakos Technical College kule Machakos. Hapo ndio niliweza kuanza kulearn shiatsu. Uwezo wa kuona nilipoteza by depression, ili start na stress. Kazi ilipoisha, sasa nikaanza stress. Nilikuwa na watoto wadogo, watoto kuwalipia school fees, kuwapatia food, kulipa rent, hizo zote nikaweza kushindwa. So nijikuta tu niko kwa stress lakini sikuweza kujua. Then mwisho nilijipata na depression, then depression ika-affect optical nerve yangu ya macho. Kitu ya kwanza kufikiria kupoteza uwezo wa kuona, nilifikiria tu nijiue. Juu nilikuwa nimechokeshwa na hii life kabisa. Sasa sioni watoto, sina any. Lakini wakati nilikuwa nafikiria, Mungu akanipa uwezo, nikaweza kupata msaidizi, ndio alikuja kuweza kunisaidia na ndio alinipeleka kwa shule, ndio ambaye anaitwa Nishosho Josephine Wanjiko, ndio aliweza kunipa hiyo ushauri na kuni motivate my life irudi tena. Wakati nilipoenda kule Machakos Technical, kuna walimu wanaoshauri watu. Tena nikapata kuna student wengi wamepoteza uwezo wa kuona, wengine wamekaa miaka nyingi na nyingi zaidi. So nikajiona pale mwanzo sio mimi pekee. Sit down, hang your leg to the side. So nilikuwa napenda sana kuwa daktari, lakini mafanikio yangu hayukuweza kufa. Babangu alikufa nikiwa mchanga. Wakati nilimaliza tu kidato cha 4 sikuweza kupata mtu wa kuniendelesha. Vile nilikuwa nakumbuka hapo, nikaweka effort sana ya kuweza kufanya shiatsu. Wengi sana ukuja, wengine mtu anakudharau juu huwezi kuona. Wengi ni wale wanakaa mkureles alafu wanaipenda sana shiatsu. Ninapowafanyia mara ya kwanza, huo mtu atarudi tena na tena na tena. Sasa hii kazi imenifungua macho. Mimi nina maisha mazuri, watoto wangu wako shule, ninaweza kujilipia rent na chakula ninaweza kuwapatia. Yaani maisha iko sawa. Yule mali yako pale alikuwa na shida ya disability, shida ya aina yoyote kama yenye nilikuwa nayo na stress, kilio kingi hadi ikafanya niweze kupoteza uwezo wa kuona. Hiyo usifikirie tena, jaribu tu anything unaweza fanya kwa hii life.
What a beautiful story of hope we have there. Now, break. When we come back, we have plenty more. Those, of course, include your weekly segments. Have you heard on this day in history? And, of course, the clip of the week. Stay with us.
Nation FM. More music and less talk. Nairobi 96.3, Mombasa 101.5, Meru 93.9, Nyeri 104.9, Eldoret 102.7, and Nakuru on 97.7. Follow us on social media on Facebook at Nation FM, Instagram at Nation FM, and on Twitter at Nation FM KE. Nation FM. More music and less talk.
Slices of life.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom
for me and you.
I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. What a wonderful world.
The Ministry of Public Service, Youth and Gender is hosting the 2019 National Youth Week from 6th August 2019, which will culminate with the commemoration of the International Youth Day on 12th August 2019 at Matunga, Kwale County. The theme of International Youth Day 2019, Transforming Education, will highlight the Kenyan government's efforts in ensuring that education is more inclusive, accessible, and that it is fit for purpose for all youth. The ministry will also launch 12 youth empowerment centers across the country to provide sports, guidance and counseling, and ICT services. The ministry invites all youth to participate in the activities that are being carried out across the country during this week through their county offices. International Youth Day 2019. Boresha elimu, wezesha vijana.
We define your great moments in higher learning through our tradition, diversity, friendship, and merit. The depth and relevance of our academic programs is our pride as we shape our graduates beyond the intellect. We are ready for you. St. Paul's University avails to you variety and consistency as we keep our programs technologically driven and entrepreneurially linked to inspire innovation and service. The door to excellence is open for you. Join us now for August intake. For further information, call us or interact with us online. St. Paul's University, unleashing untapped potential.
Manze nilidhani after hizi grades za high school, sina chance kwa life. But Daystar University proved me wrong. With their diploma option, I'm now working my way towards my dream career. Wako na options kama ICT, business administration, logistics, community development, peace and conflict transformation, communication, na music.
Book your intake now. Call us or visit www.daystar.ac.ke for more information.
You guys, take charge of your future. Tunakucheck na tunakungoja.
Daystar University, excellence, transformation, and servant leadership.
Can I buy a chocolate, please? It's for my mom. Happy birthday, Mom.
Thank you, Bella. There's a class and a half in everyone.
Your eyes have been on the prize, left no stone unturned. Your focus has made you an industry leader, and now it is time to celebrate you. Nominate yourself or someone you know at Top 40 Under 40 Women 2019 at top40.pdafrica.com. Nomination runs from 26 July till 24th August 2019. Business Daily. More possibilities.
Unye vipi bana? Nini poa? Na umenitumia ka message kwa WhatsApp. Alafu before nisome ikaandikwa deleted for everyone. Ati? Unaweza nitumia tena ndio nisikue nimekosa kitu my friend. Usijali hiyo haikuwa yako. Ilikuwa ya tinga hiyo.
Fuata Joshua ufike Canaan. Usikize sawa?
Lakini Joshua,
yes.
Hata tukienda Canaan sahi, si mfalme Uhuru ashafika.
Call on me anytime you want to. Call on me.
Welcome back to NTV Weekend Edition. It's now time for your favorite Saturday segments. Have you heard about this Brazilian inmate who tried to escape prison disguised as his own daughter? Prison authorities caught drug trafficker Clauvino da Silva attempting to leave the facility through the front door dressed up as his teenage daughter. He wore a wig, a mask, glasses and women's clothes, including a bra, by the way. Da Silva's daughter had visited him at the time, and the plan was to leave her behind in his cell. I wonder what happens to her now. Have you heard about the English Trappist monks who have joined a blessed company with brotherly brew of ale or beer? Faced with dwindling revenues from dairy farming, the monks decided around 6 years ago to swap milk for beer. The dark ale has an alcohol content of 7.4%. The monks say that people are increasingly fed up with fake things and they want authenticity, and that they endeavor to live their life as such. Interesting times we live in, brewing beer in a holy place. By the way, have you heard how Spain is now monitoring traffic on the roads and fining irresponsible drivers? The European country has begun using drones to capture drivers who commit traffic offenses. Drones fitted with a high-quality camera fly over the roads to detect reckless behavior. It consists of a remote pilot in charge of the drone, a cameraman in charge of the camera who directs it to detect the infractions. The authorities later fine the driver with the evidence collected, a system that could actually work perfectly in Nairobi. And have you heard that Frenchman Frankie Zapata has finally achieved his dream of fast hoverboard crossing of the English Channel? The daredevil fulfilled his quest after pulling off a tricky refueling maneuver that cut short his first attempt 10 days before. Zapata blasted off on his flyboard for the 35-kilometer trip, escorted by 3 helicopters, and he glided across the water and landed 22 minutes later. Hooray! It's now time for a look at the historical events of the years gone by. On 8th August 2017, Kenyans went to the ballot in the general election. After a couple of days of vote tallying, President Uhuru Kenyatta of the Jubilee Party was declared re-elected with 54% of the vote. Opposition leader Raila Odinga rejected the result and successfully petitioned Kenyatta's win, leading to nullification by the Supreme Court. Fast forward to 2019 and we have the handshake. On 5th of August 1962, South African statesman and freedom icon Nelson Mandela was captured by South African police. Jailed in Johannesburg's Marshall Square prison, Mandela was charged with inciting workers' strikes and leaving the country without permission. He would be jailed for 27 years in 3 different prisons and released in 1990. He became the country's first black president in 1994, and then he died in December of 2013. On 5th of August 2017, Jamaican sprint superstar Usain Bolt finished 3rd behind Americans Justin Gatlin and Christian Coleman in the 100 meters race at the IAAF World Championships in London in what was his final individual race. Bolt retired after that, bringing to an end a glittering career in which he won multiples of medals and set 2 world records in the 100 and 200 meters, which he still holds, by the way. He tried a hand in football, or should I say a leg in football, but it never ended well for him. On 6th of August 1945, an atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima by the United States military. By the time the bomb was dropped on this Japanese city, the Second World War had raged on for 6 years. Germany had been defeated and Europe lay in ruins. The moral, legal, and ethical issues of the bombing are still being debated to this day. Days after the attacks, Japan surrendered to the Allies and came under a US-led military occupation. It's now time for a look at the week numbers, and these are the numbers that actually dominated headlines this week. Our first big number is 90. This is the number of Kenyan legislators who attended a conference in the US state of Tennessee, which, by the way, has been talked about. This number is particularly high considering that the host there, that is the US, only had 9 delegates, and Nigeria, which is the second largest delegation, had 20. The legislators have been slammed for wastage of resources in a conference whose agenda includes, by the way, sampling country music and inspirational talks from singer Dolly Parton. In my Tennessee mountain home, you know that? Our second big number this week is 1.1 billion. This is the amount of money you could be paying more to MCAs should a proposal for hefty house alliances go through. The Salaries and Remuneration Commission has moved to stop the over 1,400 MCAs from allocating themselves over 100 million shillings every single month. The MCAs have awarded themselves a minimum of 65,000 and a maximum of 85,000 shillings every single month in those house allowances. Our third big number this week is 800. This is the number of employees of the East Africa Portland Cement who stand to lose their jobs if a decision to retrench members in a restructuring bid goes on. The managing director of the company, Stephen Thay, has since sent out another communique saying that the decision to retrench has been withdrawn. The troubled company is said to have been making losses of up to 8 million Kenya shillings every single day. And our final big number this week is 41.5 billion. This is the amount of money in evaded tax that companies associated with businessman Humphrey Kariuki Ndegwa have accrued since 2014. The Director of Public Prosecutions has ordered the arrest of directors of Africa Spirits Limited and Wow Beverages for several offences, including fraud, dealing in fake excise stamps, and tax evasion. Humphrey Kariuki is still at large and is being sought by police. And that is your week in numbers. Time now for just one more thing. Well, you might have seen this earlier in the week, but it is too good not to repeat. A donkey in India is now giving a threat to the great singers of the world. Some competition, by the way, by displaying her amazing vocals. Take a listen. Well, I wonder what we will see next. Maybe a monkey playing the guitar or a dog driving, whatever. You know, interesting times, these ones. But on that singing note, melodic note even, let's take another short break. When we come back, Aida Waringa has the day's sports.
This is NTV. History.
Rendering the declared results null and void.
Telling the story of Kenya
The growing importance of border in Mandera.
Matatus will be on strike.
and beyond.
The politics in the United States capital.
It is the 7th edition of the Global Education taking place in Dubai.
When it comes to business, we crunch the numbers and unpack the detail with the latest information for your investment decision.
It's time to say goodbye to this note and karibu to this note.
In order for the manufacturing sector to be elevated from the ground.
Despite the government's promise to create at least 1.3 million jobs.
Moves you fast past the planes and trucks to bring you the triumphs and joys of our great men and women.
Moving stories that touch our hearts.
I didn't know that I could go back to school.
The Back to School program has brought hope to these young mothers.
NTV News. News that moves you.